Hey guys, I'm swapping the tubes on this Laney Ironheart IRT-Pulse tube preamp. It's perfectly safe. Alright guys, I recently, actually last December, I got the Laney Ironheart IRT-Pulse tube preamp, and I've kind of sat on it for a little bit because I kind of struggled with getting a good sound out of it, and finally liked it, but then I thought, oh, I wonder if you could swap tubes on this preamp. So I'm pretty sure I voided the warranty by taking this little cage off where the tubes are and swapping out the tubes with a couple of different styles of preamp tubes. That's right, this unit is tube swappable. Again, don't do it unless you are prepared to void your warranty. But you can actually take any of the, I believe they're cathode-based. If you're an electrical engineer, let me know down below if I get this wrong. But really, any of the cathode-based preamp tubes. So that would be 12AX7, 12AT7, 12AU7, 12AV7, 12AY7. You can swap them in and out of this unit and get some interesting variations of tone and gain. So what I've got in here right now, let me put the cage down, is the original tubes that came with the unit. So they are 12AX7 tubes. They don't really have any markings on them. I'm going to assume that they're from China because China has some of the world's remaining tube factories in that country. And here's what the basic tone of this unit sounds like. Clean. So you can hear that's the clean tone. Let me run through the controls really quickly. There's gain and volume, as you would expect. Really simple. Obviously, gain is going to give you your crunch. Volume's the overall level. There's a dark button at the top of the unit that acts as a high-cut filter. There's actually a bypass switch, so you can just kind of bypass the whole thing, go direct into your computer or the rest of your effects. Oh, there's a bright switch. There is a hot switch, which actually kind of acts as a channel switcher to a lead channel. And there's a speaker emulation switch, so you can turn that cabinet emulation on or off. And finally, there's an EQ switch, which cuts in kind of like a little bit of a scooped mid thing. So it's not really, extreme scoop mid. It just kind of raises the low and the high a little bit relative to the mid. Okay, whoa. Okay, so kind of cool. Here's the humbucker sound with this particular setting. Okay, so not bad. I also have a little bit of a delay. Of course I've got a delay. Okay. You'll hear that from time to time. Anyhow, let's check out a little bit more of the crunchy kind of sounds with the stock tubes. So just a little bit of crunch with these single coil tele pickups here. All right, little humbucker. Not bad. It's not amazing though, right? With the humbucker on, at least on this low crunch level. At least I don't think it's amazing. But not bad. And if you throw a little delay in. Now let's try the bright switch. Not real apparent on the single coil or on the humbucker, but single coil. Much more noticeable. Yeah, great note. But I do like the tube compression as it begins to crunch. Yeah, kind of nice. Let me bring the gain all the way up on this channel. And the humbucker. Yeah, that's a little nicer with a little bit more gain, isn't it? Let's turn the bright off and the EQ on. Not a bad sound, and you may have seen me fooling around with the tone knob a little bit, and I think if you're going to use this unit, you'll probably get used to using your tone knob because there's no fine tuning on the unit of treble, bass, and mid. So it's really going to be a combination of the dark, the bright, and the EQ switch with the tone knob on your guitar. Now, I don't mind that because I do a lot with tone anyhow, the tone controls on my guitars. But if you're not used to that, you may find that annoying. Now let's try the hot channel. Yeah, that's a nice sound, isn't it? Little delay. Let's add a little bright in there. That's really bright, isn't it? And you can hear that tube distortion, compression going on. All right, let's try some humbucker. All right, so this channel seems a little more voiced for the humbucker versus the clean channel. Let me bring the gain up some more. That's not bad. Let's try some EQ with the humbucker. It's a little bit in scooped mid territory, but not a ton. This is not going to be a rectifier kind of sound, is it? Let me bring that gain all the way up. Little single coil action. Not a bad sound. I think there are some really good sounds in the unit stock as is. Let's try some other tubes. All right, guys, I've pulled out the original tubes and put in a pair of 1980s vintage Mullard CV4024 tubes, and they are equivalent to 12 AT7. So that means they've got about, I believe, if I recall, about 60% of the gain of a standard 12AX7 tube. And here's what they sound like clean. And you you can see the gain is definitely a little bit lower. I've got the volume turned all the way up to get kind of an equivalent volume of the 12AX7s. But what a beautiful sound. There's so much detail in each note. Let's try the humbucker. Yeah, even the humbucker's got a really nice sound to it. Okay, let's flip back to the single coils and try the bright switch. Ooh, bells, humbucker. Yeah. Let's try a little bit more gain on this channel. So you can hear a little breakup, but you don't lose any detail, even with the bright switch off. Little humbucker action. Even the humbucker with the higher gain pickup still retains detail. Can you tell I like these tubes? Yeah, I do. Cool. Let's really kind of crank the gain here on this channel. And let's try the EQ to scoop the mids just a little bit. I really wish I had my compressor hooked up in the signal path, because it would really kind of increase the sustain without having to increase the gain or the distortion. Let's try a little delay. Yeah. Want to try the hot channel? So even on the hot channel with that lowered gain, see where I've got the gain set? Yeah, it's not really cranking very hard, is it? Here's the humbucker. All right, let's crank it a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's cool. Scoop mids a little bit. I gotta try a little delay. Yeah, that's cool. Let's crank the gain all the way up. Humbucker. delay. All right, I've got the Sylvania 12 AU7 tubes plugged into the Ironheart, and just a reminder, they're just a fraction of the original 12AX7 tubes gain level. In fact, only 17 to 19, maybe 20% if we're being generous. And here's what these tubes sound like on the clean channel. So hot is turned off, and the gain, as you can see, is almost all the way up, and the volume is almost all the way up. Like really almost clean. So let's try the humbucker. Also clean. Now, if you want to do, you know, like jazzy kinds of things, turn down the tone a little bit on my guitar. And I'd probably add a little compressor in there, you know, just for my taste. Let's try the bright switch. Yeah, kind of nice. Humbuckers. Yeah, so kind of cool. It's very, very quiet though. Let's go ahead and try the hot channel. Just a little bit of crunch there, isn't it? Let's try the little bit of delay. Yeah, okay, let's bring the gain up a little bit more. Man, it's still almost clean, isn't it? Let's try the humbucker. Oh, there's a little bit of crunch. Bring the gain all the way up with the humbucker. Oh. Yeah, so I like the sound of these tubes, and I like them back with my old univalve amp, but I don't think they're great tubes for pushing into crunch mode. Although they do work a little bit better with the single coils. And so I think these tubes would be a great option if you're looking to turn the Ironheart into a jazz machine and just keep things like really pristinely clean. All right, for our last climactic combination, I've got a real Mullard 12AX7, the CV4004, in what I think is slot number 1, V1 for the tube. And again, that's from the 1980s, made in England. And I've got a Mullard 12AT7 CV4024 in slot number 2. And here's what the clean sound sounds like with the Strat Tele kind of pickups. Oh yeah. Like it. Here we go. Some more. Little delay. try some bright switch on that. Oh yeah. Let's try a little humbucker on that. So a little bit of breakup with the higher gain of the humbucker pickup. Okay, let's bring up the gain a little bit more, still with the humbucker. Let's try the single coils. Yeah, that sounds really great. I think the voicing favors the single coil pickups a little bit more than the humbucker, at least this particular humbucker. All right, let's bring the gain all the way up on the clean channel with the single coils. One of the things I really like about these tubes, these older tubes, is that what I call almost a 3D kind of a tone. To me, it almost sounds like there's a little bit of a room sound within the tube itself. It's really weird. I don't think I've heard any digital amp modelers that kind of capture that vibe of a good tube. All right, let's go ahead and try the hot channel. Little bit of humbucker. Let's try some bright. Little delay. Let's try the EQ, get a little of that scooped curve there. So that really, yeah, that sounds really pretty great with the humbucker. Here's the single coils. I kind of like the bright, I think, better. Maybe even the bright all the way off. Yeah, let's try some more gain on this channel. Little humbucker action. Yeah, now the humbucker's kind of coming into its own here, I think. Let's go ahead and bring the gain all the way up. Well, there you go. 4 combinations of tubes: the original 12AX7, the Mullard 12AT7 CV4024, the Sylvania 12AU7s, and a combination of a Mullard 12AX7 and the 12AT7 together. Could you hear the same differences I was hearing? Is it, maybe it's YouTube, maybe it obscures it, or maybe you hear the difference and agree or disagree? Let me know what you think below. I'd be really interested to know if you're thinking what I'm thinking about how significant the differences are. The truth is, I think, that all 3 of the 12AX7, 12AT7 combinations work pretty well with the unit. The 12AU7s are weak, obviously, and you would only want to use them if you had a jazz kind of thing going on. Let me know what you think. Also, I've got a playlist here of some other gear that I think you should check out. And as always, I'll see all of you on the next video.